Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Go to Work podcast. I'm your host, Drew, and today we're tackling a biggie: how to dodge the resentment trap in your marriage. So pop in those earbuds and let's go to work. Let's talk about resentment. It's that nasty feeling that creeps in when you're feeling slighted or underappreciated. In a relationship, especially when you're both juggling the fast-paced life, resentment can sneak in, and before you know it, it's there. It's a silent relationship killer, slowly eroding the good vibes between you and your spouse. So why does resentment hit so hard? It could be anything from feeling like you're doing more than your fair share of chores to your spouse not giving you the attention you crave after a long day. It's those little things that can pile up and start to weigh heavy on your heart. What's something that can build up a lot of resentment in marriage? Money. In the hustle of life, managing finances can feel like a dance, one that requires rhythm and coordination. When one partner feels like they're carrying the financial load solo, or when there's some secret spending happening, that's when resentment starts to creep in. It's like a crack in the sidewalk you didn't see coming. But don't worry, we've got the moves to keep you in sync. First, have an open and honest convo about your financial goals and fears. Put everything on the table, no holding back. Next, create a budget that works for both of you like a choreographed dance. And most importantly, have regular check-ins, like a pulse check, to make sure you're both still grooving to the same beat. Remember, in the jungle of love and money, you're a team. Face those financial challenges together with transparency and respect. Also remember that regular check-ins in every area of the marriage is a best practice. I also want to note that check-ins are a lot like those inspections at work. If you ever had an inspection on a job, it's probably never a great feeling to be the one getting inspected, and most of us probably don't have the experience of ever being the inspector. If our stuff wasn't together, there's probably a strong temptation to hide all the non-compliant stuff in a closet that the inspector won't see. That's where the resentment breeds and grows. That closet is where all your issues are waiting to file up everything later on. These check-ins are not pass and fail like those inspections at work. They are there so both of you can benefit. Now isn't the time to keep score. Actually, if you're keeping score, that means resentment is probably already there in the relationship. Trash the scoreboard. Now let's delve into a topic that's often hidden in the shadows of our relationships: unresolved childhood issues. These are the shadows from our past that can haunt our present, especially in marriage. When one partner hasn't dealt with their childhood baggage, it can lead to misunderstandings and resentment. It's like walking through a minefield blindfolded. You just never know when something might trigger an explosion of emotions. There are ways to navigate this tricky terrain. First, recognize that these issues exist. That's probably the hardest part. Shine a light on them and don't keep them in the dark. Next, encourage your spouse with respect to keep seeking healing, whether it's through therapy, counseling, or support groups. And most importantly, be patient and understanding. Healing is a journey, not a sprint. Remember, in the dance of marriage, both partners need to be in step. By facing unresolved childhood issues together, you can keep moving forward in harmony, leaving no room for resentment to take hold. The Bible has some timeless advice on this. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 31 to 32. Basically, holding on to resentment is not the way to go. Embracing kindness, compassion, and forgiveness is a ticket. Here are some more scriptures to keep in mind. The first one might have been part of your wife's wedding vows and should at least feel at least a little bit familiar. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 5. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Colossians 3, 12 through 13. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe each other yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. Matthew 18, 21 through 22. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered, I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Also, we have James 1, 19 through 20. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Romans 12 and 18 says, if it is at all possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. 1 Peter 4 and 8. Above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. All right, let's talk solutions. First, keep Christ at the center of your marriage. Be led by the Holy Spirit. Take every issue to the Father. Next up, communication is your best friend. Having open, honest chats about what's bugging you can help you stop resentment in its tracks. Forgiveness is not just a one and done deal. It's a continuous journey. Also, don't forget to show some love and appreciation. A little thank you or I appreciate you can go a very long way. And if things are getting heavy, do what must be done. Don't be afraid to seek out a pastor, a counselor, or a trusted mediator. Sometimes an outside perspective can make all the difference. Perspective: we hide things in the closet when we care what the other person thinks. We don't hide things from people that we don't think matter to us. Recognize how important your spouse is to you and learn to be grateful for them, whether they are currently meeting your expectations or not. Accept them for who they are, not who you want them to be. For real, you already said that you're going to do this at the altar. Why are you going back on your word now? If both people can get to a place of acceptance and gratitude, then you finally made it to the same team. I didn't say happy, I just said the same team. When everyone's on the same team, these honest conversations can really be productive. What's small to you may be big to them. That goes for positive and negative things. Doing a few chores around the house might relieve a lot of stress for your spouse. Learn to love your spouse in a way they can best receive it. Keeping your relationship strong for the long term is all about being proactive. Make time for each other, pray for one another, and keep the lines of communication wide open all the time. It's about building a love that's resilient, where resentment doesn't have the fuel to grow. Thanks for tuning in to the Let's Go to Work podcast. I hope today's chat helps you navigate those tricky waters of resentment and keeps your relationship on the right track. Keep spreading the love. Review, share, and subscribe to this podcast if that applies to the platform you're watching it on or hearing it on. And I'll catch you next time. Have a blessed day.